Energy security. Latest news. India's energy security is in focus due to rising geopolitical conflicts in West Asia, which have exposed vulnerabilities in its import-dependent energy supply chains and macroeconomic stability. Introduction. Recent geopolitical conflicts, particularly in West Asia, have exposed the fragility of global energy markets and their immediate transmission effects on domestic economies like India. India, importing over 85% of its crude oil, faces acute vulnerability to external shocks. The sharp rise in Brent crude prices during conflicts and projected macroeconomic impacts, including slower GDP growth and rising inflation. This underscores that energy security today extends beyond cost efficiency to resilience and strategic diversification. Changing definition of energy security. Traditionally, energy security was understood as ensuring access to affordable fuel. However, the evolving geopolitical landscape has fundamentally altered this definition. Today, it encompasses resilience against supply disruptions, diversification of suppliers and routes, macroeconomic stability amid price volatility. The Russia-Ukraine conflict served as an early warning, exposing the risks of overdependence on a single supplier. Europe's response, cutting reliance on Russian gas from 45% to 12% and accepting underutilized LNG infrastructure, demonstrates a shift toward insurance-based energy planning rather than pure efficiency. Impact of West Asia conflict on India. The ongoing tensions in West Asia have amplified risks for India due to its heavy reliance on maritime oil routes. The Strait of Hormuz, a critical choke point through which nearly 25% of global oil passes, plays a pivotal role in determining price stability and supply continuity. India imports roughly 45% of its crude through this route, making it highly susceptible to disruptions. Such geopolitical shocks can quickly translate into domestic inflationary pressures and economic slowdown. Additionally, operational risks have increased, as seen when Indian LPG carriers required naval escort under Operation Sunkalp during heightened tensions. India's energy demand and global position. India is now the world's third-largest oil consumer, and its demand trajectory continues to rise. According to projections, oil demand expected to reach 5.74 MB/d in 2025 and 5.99 MB/d in 2026. Demand growth, 130 kb/d, surpasses China's 80 kb/d. This positions India as a key driver of global oil demand growth. In a scenario where OECD demand is declining, India's consumption becomes strategically significant for global energy markets. Diversification of energy imports. India has demonstrated considerable agility in adapting to supply shocks. A notable shift has been the rise in Russian oil imports, from just 2% before 2022 to nearly 36% in FY 2024-25, making Russia India's largest supplier. Simultaneously, India maintains a diversified import basket including Iraq, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and the United States. This diversification strategy reinforces the concept of optionality, India's ability to switch suppliers based on geopolitical and economic conditions. Structural challenges in energy security. Despite adaptive strategies, several structural vulnerabilities persist. High import dependence. India's crude oil import dependence reached 89.4% in FY 2024-25, with domestic production remaining limited. This exposes the economy to fluctuations in global prices, freight costs, and exchange rates. Geographic constraints. Even with diversified suppliers, logistical realities such as choke points, example Strait of Hormuz, cannot be bypassed. Maritime risks continue to constrain strategic flexibility. Emerging risks from energy transition. While transitioning to renewable energy reduces fossil fuel dependence, it introduces new vulnerabilities. Dependence on critical minerals like lithium, cobalt, nickel, and rare earths. China's dominance, over 90% in rare earth processing. India's limited domestic processing capacity, 5% of projected needs by 2035. Thus, the energy transition shifts dependency rather than eliminating it. Global comparative strategies. Other major economies have adopted proactive measures to enhance energy security. China, long-term LNG contracts, 25 million metric tons annually. South Korea, secured oil supplies bypassing choke points. Japan, strategic reserves equivalent to 254 days of consumption. These approaches emphasize long-term planning, stockpiling, and route diversification, areas where India still needs to scale efforts. Strategic path forward for India. To strengthen energy security in a conflict-prone world, India must adopt a multidimensional strategy. Expand strategic petroleum reserves, SPR, build larger buffers against supply shocks. Reduce oil intensity, promote EVs, public transport, and fuel efficiency. Enhance maritime security, strengthen naval capabilities to secure trade routes. Develop critical mineral ecosystem, invest in domestic mining, refining, and international partnerships. Strengthen supply chain resilience, reduce overdependence on single countries.